I'm Christina. Welcome to Songs for Black Days, Revolver's brand new podcast about music as medicine, the songs we turn to for solace. Today we have a very special guest, Noah from Bad Omens. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Well, we're excited to hear your pick. So, what will be your first song of the day?
I'm gonna go, I guess, in chronological order in which I discovered these songs. And I'm gonna start with a song called "Contact" by As Cities Burn. That your voice was really my own. Basically, my best friend Nick and I, he plays bass in Bad Omens. We would like make mix CDs and burn CDs, and on this mix CD, the first track I put "Contact" on there by As Cities Burn, and I have this like visceral memory of because at the time I think I was like 15. I lived with him, and I was like pretty like dislodged, turbulent time as a teenager, kind of growing up without much structure or balance. But
What do you mean by that? Just out of interest.
I dropped out of high school when I was like 15,
Wow.
and kind of just all my friends were older, so I was always just running around with them and definitely not living the most conventional 15-year-old's lifestyle. Luckily, never got into like drugs or anything like that. Like I wasn't like a problem child, like beyond scared straight teenager or anything. But I was just definitely like out too late and hanging out with people older than me.
Mm.
But on the CD, the first song was "Contact," and we would like put it on every night in his CD player in his room when we were like going to sleep. And I just I've heard it so many nights falling asleep to it, and the "Contact" is like 7 minutes long, so most nights it's not even over by the time you fall asleep.
I saw a piece of heaven waiting impatient for.
This is actually a song that did get me through a hard time, which is like always feels like a cheesy thing to say, but this one's like more applicable to the subject of this interview, I guess.
Thank you.
But I was having really bad like panic attacks and like anxiety, and on top of that, I was like smoking a lot of weed and like and wax,
Doesn't
and
help. Doesn't
never a good like
doesn't it doesn't
usually
help. There's this
usually that leads to that.
there's a huge idea that that helps. It doesn't help. Like,
No,
yeah. Anyway.
not at all. And I won't like go too into detail about it, but like I got super into like self-educating and medicating with like self-help and philosophy literature and like holistic medicine type of like literature, and I kind of like developed this like messiah complex, and like the panic attacks kind of led me to like this constant like fear that I was going to die soon, and like I had this like my death was coming and it was inevitable.
Well,
And it was just like a weird moment where I like felt like truly manic at times and just like out of control of like my mind, and my body, because your body like experiences anxiety too.
mm,
And anyway, it got pretty bad, and like at the time our bass player Vincent, he's not in the band anymore, but he kind of noticed what was going on because something similar happened to his brother
mm.
a few years prior, and his brother was also smoking a lot of weed and dabbing or whatever I was doing, like just the highest THC concentrate you can imagine. Um, so he saw what was going on, and he more or less like him and his family like nursed me back to health because his whole family is like they have an extensive like medical background. They're all like doctors or all kinds of well versed in medicine type of careers. So they like more or less like nurtured me back to health at his house, which was really nice because there was just like a general warm presence between like his house and his family. And around that time, I started like running to like get my mind right and like exercising. And after I would go on runs around his neighborhood, I would sit on the back patio and listen to Aurora, Runaway by Aurora, that the whole record, honestly, but that song in particular would always like start the playlist. And it was kind of crucial because at that time, like, it's so weird to say now, but like so many things were like triggering for me, like loud noises or like violent movies or like chaotic music, even like heavy music and stuff. So like the only type of media I could consume had to be like very relaxing and like zenful because it just like I was just so shaken up.
Mm.
So that song, like, really, I just played it so much, and I'll just lay on the back deck and like sunbathe, and to this day, it's kind of just I have a memory of it like when I was in a like a small peaceful place when like it would kind of just bring me back to earth when I was like anxious and stuff, and kind of just close my eyes and listen to that song and just feel like really relaxed and really at peace. And I think that that song has like, without sounding too spiritual, like some serious healing properties in it if you're ever just trying to like wind down and just relax and like hear like consume some kind of content that's going to just relax you and not stress you out. This is a song that Keaton, the singer, wrote about his little sister passing away. And I don't know how much you know about Too Close to Touch, but they're like kind of a smaller band. And the singer was one of my best friends. And he passed away in March this year.
Oh, dude.
Um, and it was hard for sure because I've like never lost a friend before. But anyway, Eiley is a song he wrote about his little sister passing, and it's like even if you've never lost someone, I feel like that song, like just because of the emotion he's able to like pull out of you and deliver in his voice, and just like the pain and like the power in his voice that he was able to achieve, like can almost emulate that experience if you like are in an intimate setting with that song listening to it, because especially if you like read along with the lyrics, like it's just heart shattering. But yeah, we were on the Underoath tour, uh and Too Close to Touch's tour manager and sound engineer, he was on that tour doing sound for Spirit Box, and so he was also like very involved with that whole experience, I guess you could say, because he was even closer to Keaton than I was. And he's the one that told me what happened. And basically that day, like it's kind of like the light years thing with the National, where I was like, I need to just feel this. I don't need to like run away from this. So
Mm.
I just listened to Too Close to Touch all day, and then like Eiley, that song in particular, when it came on, like I just like broke down basically, and it became like even more visceral than it already was, like even more hard to digest than it already was before he passed away, because it's just such a strong, powerful song. But I picked that song because like I'm typically a pretty like stoic, like head on, like flat shoulder, kind of like work first type of person, like get the job done and then we'll figure it out later
Mhm.
type of person. But I put that song in there because with that song, it's like whenever I want to go to that place and just like allow myself to feel and like kind of take that wall down, even if I'm just by myself, like that song will do it for sure. And that day, we hadn't played yet when I found out. So, and we have like changeover music before we start our set, and we have like a playlist, and that day I made the playlist just a bunch of Too Close songs to like kind of commemorate him to whoever in the crowd knew or heard about him. And that song came on like right before we started our set, and I was fucked. I was like this was a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. We did way too much. Um and yeah, it's just a song now that I guess I'm just lucky because he I love his band, I love his music and his work, and it's nice to have something to like something tangible that's like art to like experience him in a way with, I guess, without sounding too like emotional. Like it's nice to have a piece of work from him that like his song about his sister is my song about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It's
immortality.
yeah,
It's a bit of
it's all
immortality, like just a little whisker of it. Well, what? Just because it's nice. What was he like? What was he like as a person?
just the goofiest dude. He was like one of the few and only first friends I made like in the touring scene when because I'm like kind of like an I won't say antisocial, but like kind of a reclusive, like just a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know,
Yeah, you're
just
self-contained.
yeah, you get it. And we were on Warp Tour 2017 with him, and he was like, I think we became friends first on Twitter. He just like would tweet at me like we should hang out or we should be friends or whatever. We should play Xbox. And we met on Warp Tour and just hung out like all summer. And he didn't live anywhere near me, but like we just became such good friends. And when I got home from tour, we would pretty much like every night play Xbox Live like games together, like till 5 in the morning, just like playing fucking games together. And whenever he was in town, like recording or making music, or they used to record with Eric Ron, who's kind of close to me. And like whenever he was in town and they weren't working, he would like be at my house and hanging out. And like it was just one of those friendships where like no matter how long you haven't seen each other in, like you don't miss a beat when you're back together, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just in the industry like this where there's always like a small sense of like rivalry or competition or just like, politics. Like none of that stuff ever like got to him or affected him, and he just like wanted to be friends with everybody, which is how we became friends so easily because I feel like I kind of have like a radar for that type of stuff,
Yeah.
and I just didn't detect any bullshit from him, So yeah, I mean, it's just he was just a great dude and a very, very talented singer and songwriter. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy because I was a fan of his and I was his friend, and he never believed how much I loved his band because that's just something friends tell each other, like, dude, your new song is sick. But like I genuinely was like, and our fans have pointed it out. They've been like, this kind of reminds me of Too Close to Touch, and I'm like, that's the point. Like I love them, like, and since that happened, it's been like I don't have many of like I guess you could say like corny like goals or ambitions. Like I just like to make cool music and work hard and do a good job. But like
Mm.
I would definitely like to carry on whatever whatever he created with us and like involve it as much as I can in whatever I make next.
That's beautiful. Have you written words as a part of like processing this kind of grief or
I
yeah,
have, yeah. That
yeah.
started for sure. I'm more of like a music first type of person these days, but it's definitely like in the bank for sure to like write a song for him.